We're live. There's the video on here. Should be here. Says we're live.
Hello, potentially people
There we
that
go,
may or
we're
may not
here.
be out there.
Hey, all right. There we go.
Nice.
It's working.
Good
Beautiful.
work, Mike.
Technology, not my strong suit some of these days, but we're getting there. Hey, everybody.
Still
Great
trying to
see
find what your strong suit is,
I
you know.
don't have many, I know. Sitting here and eating Dave's food, that's one of my strong suits. Great to see y'all from Chicago, live from Chicago.
I was going to say, you notice anything different? Mike and I aren't separated by an annoying border in between us.
Yeah, now it's just the space we have to leave.
I know, it's a lot more comfortable when there is the border, but now we can be here with each other, which is nice.
Yeah, until I kick him out to his hotel later. We rented a beautiful Airbnb, and Jason's staying a mile down the road.
I can only put up with so much, Mike. We have AJ with us, Dave Pietranczyk, Eric Villegas. Some great people are in the house making content this entire weekend. We're having a blast. And so we got an Airbnb. Mike organized this entire weekend. He's been filming last week, filming next week. What are some of the more... You had a meeting with Meathead, or is that the one coming up?
Yeah, no, Meathead's next week. We're filming with Meathead at a great barbecue restaurant here in Chicago. We're doing a side-by-side brisket, like 16 different ways. No, 20 different ways, I think. And pork ribs, 16 different ways. So Chef Eric's going with me for that. That's going to be amazing. We are shooting with a knife maker, like custom knife forging, and hopefully don't get my hand caught in the fire, which is probably going to happen. Lots of really fun stuff.
As long as you behave better around the forge than you did around the mandolin. We were doing some recipe demos and Mike was doing some mandolin work, and AJ and I were terrified. Watching Mike use a mandolin is one of the scariest things I've ever seen. He still has all of his fingers somehow, but it was quite an experience. We were both, I think if you had a heart monitor on me and AJ, you would have seen spikes in our heart rate.
It's just a trust factor. Like, that's it. You just have to trust me. And everything I do turns into gold. So
that's true. That is true. I trust you to set up an entire weekend of cooking, less so around sharp blades. But
I love it. That's awesome. Well, yeah, it's been amazing. We had some incredible pork belly buns, not bao, today on Hawaiian rolls, which was a life-changing choice for me instead of trying to steam bao and have it be cold or tough or rubbery or terrible.
Chef Pietranczyk has very strong feelings about
everything.
About everything, yes. For those of you that are longtime watchers, you know that he's also very passionate about ice, and so it actually made me very excited that the ice scoop that he brought from home to use when he was scooping ice here is the same ice scoop that Jody and I have at home. So it made me feel warm in my heart that even though I think it's a $5 ice scoop, that it meets the Chef Dave Pietranczyk ice qualifications. So
of course, I was heartbroken because I went all the way to friggin' Chick-fil-A to get this man his Pebble Ice, and he's not even going to use it tonight.
I know.
So,
he's just so ungrateful, Comes here, cooks for us for like 12 hours today, making food, but just not using the ice.
Yeah, I know, totally. Totally took all of AJ's screen time. She's been back here slaving away over a fucking chicken mousse and all of this, and Dave's like, well, we'll let you tell that story.
Let's see, who we got here? We got Doug Piper. How's it going, Doug?
Hey, Doug.
Oh, my mom joining us.
Hi, Barb.
Hi, Mom.
Long time no see. Isn't this the appropriate time when you thank your mother for you being where you are?
Thanks for teaching me so much about cooking, Mom, over the years, by encouraging me to do it so you didn't have to.
Oh gosh, I love it. Mark Krebs, my fellow travel agent, and Mark Webb, all the way from Brisbane, Australia, with us.
How's it going, Mark? And Mark?
Yes, long time no see, both of you guys. This is going to be a lot of fun. We are, I'm going to just sit in the background and drink and watch some awesome cocktail demos. And
I mean, that's all I've been doing since noon, so.
If you guys look down on the timeline at about, 4 or 5 hours ago, there's a great video showing Jason's contributions today. They have been monumental.
I've been working very hard, cheering in the background while everyone else has been prepping food, cooking food, and occasionally I'll dry the dishes. But
actually, he's been making space in the fridge for the prep food by drinking all the beer.
There's just too much beer in the fridge. Someone's got to take care of it, and I'm just the type of guy that's going to stand up and take that challenge on myself.
Take one for the team. It's awesome. Well, should we introduce our cocktail aficionados?
I mean, I'm sure everyone came to hear you and me, but I guess we want to make sure that they get to see how to make some good cocktails.
Absolutely.
Too.
So we're super excited to be here with some of our best friends in the sous vide industry, and they're going to come up and demonstrate some wonderful cocktails for you that they have worked on tirelessly. I will tell you, some of these ingredients have traveled all the way from the deep south to get up here to Chicago. So welcome Chef David Pietranczyk and Chef AJ Schaller.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Hey, Face World, how you doing?
Hi, Dave, how's it going? It's been a while since we cooked together. What do you think was the last time?
Oh my god, what actually was the last time?
Our conference!
Yeah, the conference? I might have been the conference.
Well, I feel like we've seen somewhere each other in
NRA.
between, but we don't, the point is, we don't cook together enough.
That's true. Yeah, well, the NRA show, the National Restaurant Show in Chicago, we always see each other, but that's usually like one of us running by the other person's booth and waving and just like scattering on, so cool.
Do you want to...
Are you thirsty?
I'm definitely
Is
thirsty.
everybody
I've been
here
cooking all day.
thirsty?
You've been cooking all day.
Okay.
Let's make each other beverages.
Sounds good. Why don't you start and I will watch because you've got all of your beautiful mise en place here. I know you made a lot of elements. I think it's funny with this particular weekend because I went totally crazy with my actual like savory food recipe and you did that for your cocktail, so I did like a little swap.
Yeah, I made, for the record, I made sandwiches. And AJ made a roulade with a frozen mousseline in the center and all of that. Still both delicious, but in very different ways. So this is a cocktail that I've made before, but I've changed it up just a touch, made some modifications. So if you attended our pineapple cocktail hour that we did previously, I made a pineapple daiquiri. If you watched, there is a Modernist Pantry episode, a WTF episode that I did with Modernist Pantry, where I did a pineapple margarita with a spicy foam. It's kind of similar to that, and this kind of like blurs all the lines. So we're going to do, I'm just going to call it a pineapple daiquiri. We're using acid-adjusted pineapple juice that's been freshly extracted with the Breville Commercial Juice Fountain XL Pro.
You said that very flirty today with those.
I can make it more flirty if it enhances the conversion rate.
Let's do it.
I also have a pineapple caramel of sorts. This is a Demerara gum syrup. Those of you who have watched any of my cocktail demos, you know that this is like the syrup that I'm reaching for. But this one, in place of the water for the syrup, I use the freshly extracted pineapple juice. Just give that a whiff. Like it smells
like the beach. Yeah,
yes.
It's great. Okay.
So we're gonna use that as our syrup, and then this is the super secret sauce. This is
Medicine.
yeah, right.
I dropped yours.
Here's what ails you. This is saline solution. So this is a 20% salt and water solution, and I add a couple drops of this to make literally any cocktail better. So in a cocktail like a Manhattan, something that's very just spirit forward, not too many components. 3 drops is probably okay, but if you've got a lot of stuff you've got to cut through, like a Pearl Diver or a Mai Tai, or just any sort of, I don't know, pina colada, I would do something like 5 drops. But that is the secret sauce for that.
And the leftover, you can make a hangover IV for all of us.
Yeah, right? Open your mouth and drop slowly. Alright, should I make you one?
I would love to try. Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Let's do it. So, let's go in the regular tin. So this is Plantation 5-year. This is a rum from Barbados. I'm going to actually, do you want me to make it the way that I made it for Eric, or do you want me to make it, I would make it for me?
Oh my gosh, that's a terrible question to ask
so-
me. I don't know, like what's the difference?
Well, actually, so...
And what was the difference?
Actually, so we'll do choose your own adventure. So I would do, I'd probably do all Mr. Foggy, but that's going to be pretty strong. I would also say split base of this 1 and 1,
Yeah.
or you could triple down on the pineapple. And I do have a very special pineapple rum,
Wow.
and you could do that. So,
All right, I'm going to say dealer's choice, but for the record, I've only had a little bit of the pineapple rum today, so I'm not worried about having too much booze at the moment. So go for whatever you feel is the right choice.
I do. So, over cocktails, overproof's always the right choice. So we're gonna go in with 1 ounce of Plantation 5-year. This is, like I said, this is a Barbados rum. And then I'm going to go straight on top of it. So there's a technique, or what they call it in the Bartender's Manifesto. It is a cocktail book by Violet Hour, which is one of the amazing and longest standing cocktail bars in Chicago here. Violet Hour. If you have ingredients of the same type, and you're, if you were to measure them separately, you could introduce error. So I've got, since I'm doing the split base, whatever I went into here with, I'm just going to top it off to get to my 2 mark. Otherwise, if I went over on the 1 both times when I did it, then I would have way too much in there, right? So I'm just going to top off the same thing. So I'm just going to top off to 2 with the Mr. Foggy. This is a Navy strength rum.
What does Navy strength mean?
So it's overproof, and actually, so this one, this style, exactly, you can see the ships on here and everything like that.
Cool.
So the British Royal Navy used to give the sailors a daily ration of rum, and this approximate that older style. It's got a lot of pots still in there. It's a little rough around the edges. It's higher in proof, but it's really, really delicious.
Man. Makes me want to go on a cruise or visit a beach. Or...
Oh, a cruise, you say? Well, funny you should mention, AJ. I happen to be shaking cocktails on Virgin Voyages in March of next year, and you could be drinking those cocktails with us.
March of next year, you say?
Yes.
How would one sign up for that?
Well, you could go to the ISVA.org and go to the events page and contact Mike and Jason for all of that information.
Awesome.
So we've got 2 ounces of our spirit in here. This is the acid-adjusted pineapple juice. So this has been adjusted to the acidity of lime. We're going to use 3/4 ounces of acidity all day, but I'm going to split it between lime and pineapple. You could just go in with the straight pineapple, but I did find it still just kind of like a little flat, and I do think since it's a couple times I've done this, I want just a little bit of the lime. So we're going to stack 1/2 ounce of acid-adjusted pineapple juice, and then we're going to freshly squeeze, always freshly squeezed, some lime juice right on top of it to total 3/4 ounce.
Now, I have a question while you're doing that.
Yep.
How do you know if you want to acid adjust something? Like, are you just looking up what the average acid is for like pineapple juice and deciding how much more to add, or what's your method on that?
So there's a book called Tropical Standard, which has a parametric table in there. If you're at all into tiki, or just like there's about sugar adjusting and Brix content, and like, so if you're using, I don't know, Demerara syrup and something, but you're like, what would it taste like with coconut? You can figure out what the Brix levels are, adjust, and then they would sweeten the same. Tons of great information there. So there's a lot of fruits. If you just Google what is the acidity of this thing, you can find it. I've had some times where I can't find it, but the parametric table works really good. And then you're generally adjusting to lime or lemon, or generally lime or lemon.
I suppose if you really, really, really wanted to know, you could just buy a refractometer. You can get them as much as or as low as $50 on Amazon on like the 30-point range. But yeah, that would be maybe a little bit of overkill. So if you wanted to just look.
But
it up,
is
that's
it
good
really?
too.
What was the name of the book again, Dave?
Tropical Standard. So we're going to go in with a fat 1/2 ounce. So what does that mean? Over 1/2, not 3/4. Somewhere in betweenish. Going to go in with a fat 1/2 ounce. Also because that Mr. Foggy in there, it being overproof, I'm going to cut that with some sweetness. And actually, I might even just do a little touch more, because Mr. Foggy is higher proof. And then we're going to go in with our 5 drops of the saline solution. 3, 4, 5.
Nice.
Cool. All right, so we've got everything in there, right? We've got our spirits, we've got our acid adjust, we've got our lime, we've got our syrup. AJ, if you'd be so kind to grab me some ice.
With pleasure.
And actually, it would be my pleasure if you had the beautiful Nick and Nora, if you want to bring that out as well.
Okay. Is that the...
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome. So we have this is a shape called a Nick and Nora. This is my preferred cocktail shape. I just think they're really, really elegant.
It's very pretty.
So,
super classy.
Isn't it, right?
Yeah, and you froze them too. I'm wondering if I should freeze my champagne glasses now to get them ready for our drinks. I might actually do that. I'll put a few in the freezer to get cold.
So when you're shaking a drink, I generally fill the I call this the cheater tin 3/4 of the way with ice. We're gonna dump that in there, give it a smack.
Towel in the other hand.
What?
Towel in the other hand.
Let's go.
Trust me, it's worth coming on the cruise just to see that in person.
Yeah, those are some very, very honed in skills on your shaking technique.
I do.
I have to say.
I make more cocktails than I should probably admit publicly.
Now be proud. Come on. Everybody
After
likes a little
all
cocktail.
the cocktails,
Or a lot of cocktails at the end of the day, right?
right? For all the cocktail content for ISVA that has been like the benchmark of our
I'll just throw that in the.
Belleville Sudi Cocktail University with Dave's content.
There you go. And then we're gonna garnish it with a little bit of dehydrated pineapple.
Of course. Ooh la la. Very nice.
You're letting AJ drink out of your fancy glass?
I would be honored for AJ to have the glass.
Man, we've never gotten that privilege.
Mmm, it smells amazing.
Sure, serve the pretty girl first.
Right?
Mmm. Oh my gosh, it's like boozy, creamy, like
The
islandy, like
texture from the
super-
pineapple makes it really like creamy.
Yeah, it really does. I was kind of surprised by that in a really good way. Mm.
And also the gum syrup. The gum syrup adds the body to the cocktail.
My gosh, it's perfect. Like the acid balance and just the smoothness of it. Like I'm pretty sure I could have probably 5 more.
You cannot have 5 more of those. Don't do that. Don't do that. That would be bad.
Are you sure? That's amazing, Dave. Thank
On
you so
Tuesday.
much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, go ahead.
On Tuesday, yes. That's my call time, or the end of my call time, right? So that's all right. You have to share this exact recipe with me. I'm totally going to make this at home.
Absolutely, I promise
Awesome.
to. So now that I made you one, I am feeling thirsty.
Yeah, speaking
Let's
of
do it.
making cocktails at home, I brought a special ingredient today. These are muscadine grapes. So when we were planning this cocktail hour, we were talking about what we were going to make, and I wanted to do a play on Kir Royale, which is typically made with cassis. And I thought that maybe there's a way to make that infusion nicely at a really low temperature sous vide. But then it wasn't the season for cassis. So what I did instead is I used muscadine grapes. So these are muscadine grapes, which are native to south central, southeastern United States. And they're in season at the end of summer, early fall. The grapes are actually, there is seeds inside, but if you're a true southerner, you will eat it with the grape. But in South Carolina, it's a really, really special season. Around the same time as like Concords. But I figured like Concords would be good, but muscadine's cool because not a lot of people have seen them. So these grapes actually like 40% of the weight is the skin. So the skin has like tons of antioxidants in it. It's like really good for you actually. So you can tell yourself that when you're drinking several of these cocktails.
It's healthy.
Yeah.
It's a vegetable.
So do you want to try one on its own?
For sure.
And then with the muscadine, I combined it to make a version of creme de cassis. So instead of doing an infusion, which usually like creme de cassis, which is French, you'll notice my theme through all the videos that we're doing is like very French, like français. But this is this is combined with what you would usually use to make creme de cassis at home, like sitting in a jar, infusing for up to 3, 4, 5, 6 months just at room temperature. So you add brandy and you add sugar, which I've done here, but then I sealed it, cooked it sous vide at 63 for 7 hours today. And you can see a lot of the color and the pigment from the skin of the grape has gone into the syrup. So it's really simple. Do you happen to know like where Cure Royale comes from?
I don't.
Besides it being French, of course.
That's all I know.
So in the 1940s, there was actually,
You need scissors?
the deli cup, I think, was somewhere. But thank you. The need for making a drink came from the 1940s. During the war, a lot of Burgundy red wine was confiscated. So the French didn't have their red wine to drink in a lot of places. So in lieu of that, they would take creme de cassis and top it with like a dry white wine. And that's what a cure is, which was invented by somebody actually named Felix Cure, who happens to be a Catholic priest. So like,
This tracks.
still found a way to be able to drink. So they would make the creme de cassis and top it with the white wine. And then later, Auguste Escoffier upgraded it to the Cure Royale, which is topping it with champagne instead of the wine. So I'm just gonna squeeze this out.
Do you want a strainer?
Transfer it to the Borscht bottle just for storage. And after you infuse this, I actually like to let it cool at room temperature for a while. I'm gonna see if I can just decant it here without making a mess.
There you go.
There we go. So we've got like kind of like an ambery purple color. If you wanted to, you could take the muscadine grapes that are left and go ahead and dehydrate them. There will be seeds inside, but it'd make a really nice candy or garnish for the drink, so that'd be really, really good. And
I just want to eat the ones in the bag.
yeah, definitely eat the ones in the back. If you were gonna dry it out, just throw it like on a sill pad, and the lowest your oven will go for anywhere from like 4 to 7 hours until it looks a little bit crystallized and candy. I wanted to mention too, I added a little bit less sugar than you would in a creme de cassis because the muscadine grapes are super sweet.
Yeah.
Tastes kind of like Welch's grape.
It tastes like a Concord.
Yeah, it tastes like a Concord. Do you want to try a little bit before I make the...
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, here, let me give you like a little...
Can I just applaud not one drop spilled? My goodness.
Magic.
What made you come up with the time and temperature for the...
Thank you, Eric, very much for that question. Honestly, I like to go pretty low with cocktail infusions because I feel like somewhere around 70 Celsius, it starts to taste like cooked flavors. And so you can go in a range from like 60 to 65, at maximum 70. And then like however many, weeks you might infuse at room temperature, just do that in hours in the low temperature infusion.
Nice.
That can work too.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, and also it's nice because you don't have any evaporation. So sometimes when you're letting it age at room temp, you can have a little bit of what they call like angel share kind of coming off from it. So yeah. Now for the main event. Thank you. What does it taste like to you?
Tastes like boozy grape juice.
Yeah,
It tastes like hang on. Oh, I can't parse it. But no, it tastes like Concord juice, but then there's like the alcohol behind it.
Would you say that it feels like fresh tasting? Like you can't tell that it's been cooked?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because we're well below the temperature where even like any starch or pectin
No, it's not jammy. It's more juicy than jammy.
It feels like juice with a lot of booze inside.
You can definitely tell there's alcohol in it.
Yeah. Now, with the Cure Royale, we're topping it with champagne. We have a very special bottle that Mike picked up for us, so super excited about this. And might as well make a show out of it, right? So, Dave, tell me, when's the last time you savored a bottle of champagne?
I've done it like once, and I can't tell you it went well. I feel like this is so much... If this is the intro to you asking me to do it, no.
Okay, cool. Well, that's fine. But I'll tell you when I did it first, okay? I was about 22 years old. I was on a trip to Japan with a bunch of like former teaching assistants and current instructors from the CIA, where I went to school. And we actually were doing like a foreign exchange trip, so we were helping cook for the US Navy and Tokyo Nitsugi, and in exchange we got this like awesome tour of Japan. Now, it's no secret that sometimes folks in the military like to drink, so we had like a lot of the locals that lived there. We were staying on the campus where all of the cooks were staying that were in the Navy. And one night, you know, we just had a bunch of games and booze, and someone brought an entire case of champagne and thought it was a good idea to saber every single bottle of champagne off of the balcony in the apartment that we were in. So I got a little bit of practice then. That wasn't too bad.
A little bit?
Just a little bit.
And
So
now
you
she
can
does
see-
it every Saturday night.
Yeah, for special occasions. I think actually the last time I did this was at the end of a sous vide training, just for fun to celebrate. So that was great.
I feel like I saw pictures of that.
Yeah. Now every bottle of champagne has a seam. So you can see that the seam is right here, and that's why I took all of the packaging off around it, because I want a clean surface on which to run the knife to be able to pop off the cork. And if I do this correctly, I only got one shot to do this, guys. Like, everybody cross your fingers. But if I do this correctly, the bottom of the blunt edge of the knife is going to hit where the seam hits the neck of the bottle, and it should make a clean break. Now, I haven't taken the cage off of the cork because I don't want it to pop too early, but now I'm going to do that. You tell me if I'm in a good position. Should we do like a countdown of some sort? Does anybody have any ideas? Like, what should the countdown be? I don't know.
3, 2, 1,
Just 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, that's true. It's Olivier's birthday, so let's celebrate that. Yeah. He has certainly savored many bottles of champagne. So. Okay, so now I'm going to hold the champagne bottle with the cork facing the direction of the projection that I want it to go in. For the record, there's nobody standing in front of me. If you ever do this, make sure you've got a cleared out area and you're not gonna, just get like pop someone's eye out. What is from the Christmas story? You're gonna shoot your eye out, right? Yeah, you don't want any of that. So I'm going to hold it with my left hand. My dominant hand is where I'm going to hold the knife. I'm looking where the seam is. I'm going to make a couple of practices, like this friction actually helps it come off as well.
AJ, can you back up half a step?
Back up?
No, towards Dave.
Towards Dave. This way?
There you go.
Okay. So I'm going to get it ready. So we'll do 5, 4, 3,
2,
1.
Whoa! That was badass. Jesus, that was cool.
Pretty good. Not too like bad.
That's awesome.
Super clean break. Somebody should find that cork after. Actually, Eric, could you hand that to me?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric, put a cork in.
Careful, there's sharp glass, but you can
That's the first
see
time Eric's been told to put
that it's still together. We don't have glass shards all over the floor, although if we did, I'm sure we'd figure out how to clean it up.
And
Now,
you don't need, I'm sorry, if you were looking for justification to buy a champagne saver, you can do it with your chef's knife. I mean,
Now you need a saver.
That is sharp, though. That's no joke. That's a clean break right there. That is sharp.
so taking a cue from your chilled glass, I chilled the champagne glass. Normally you put like 1.5 to 2 ounces of the creme de cassis, in this case it's creme de muscadine, into the glass. This is super sweet, so we're using a brut champagne to top it off, which just means dry, like not too sweet. And that is the cocktail.
Do we know the history of savoring? I mean, why they did it in the first place?
That's a good question. I wish I had an answer for you. Yeah, it's just a celebration, like very classic way to celebrate in France, Italy, Europe in general. And now you guys know how to do it. Just
That's
remember,
cool.
follow the seam, warm it up a little, like run your knife along it. Do not use your blade of the knife,
yeah.
and make sure that you've got a clear landing area. So, cheers.
You said along the hilt, and I'm waiting to dive into this, but before I forget it, the closer to the hilt, or
You
the
want to
middle, if it's in
get
the
like
middle, or
right towards where the hilt meets the handle.
so right where you would normally hold it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously, traditionally it would be an actual saber, but I forgot to put that in my luggage when I was on my way here.
I think you got stopped. Maybe.
That would go through TSA.
That one you want to check. You don't want to carry that on.
Well, my friend Bill from Chicago says no, you must use a sword. So I guess we'll have to redo it one of these days.
I guess we'll have to. But in a pinch, for the average cook or home cook, you can use a knife from home. So cheers.
Thank you so much.
Santé.
Cheers.
Ooh, it's such a pretty color.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's like a little sunshiny type color. So.
Yeah, that doesn't suck. That is. That's nice.
It tastes like late summer to me.
Hell yeah.
Super yummy.
Because you got the muscadines in there, and then it's like that transition between summer and fall, which is where we are right now, which is like, it's capturing the season.
And the brandy gives it a really nice sort of like earthy kind of follow through. And the brandy that you use, it doesn't have to be super expensive. It could be somewhere like moderately priced, as long as it's not, the cheapest one on the shelf.
Because it's taking all the
that
sugar
works.
from those grapes.
That's right. Yeah, there's tons of sugar in the grape. I only put a few tablespoons of sugar in with the 3 pound.
So I have a question.
Grape.
Where the hell is
Go on camera, Eric.
Well, how about a drink and then you can ask questions.
So Chef Villegas got to try your cocktail earlier. Now he should try AJ's cocktail.
That's right. I should
Get over there on camera.
I should try about
loves
4.
you too.
I should try about 4 of AJ's cocktails.
We
And
need
you
one
need
for
a
my
daiquiri,
for
is that right?
Jason.
Yeah, I'll take everything.
What is your rum decision? We could also get weird with it. I bought some Blanc rums. We could do White Jamaican Overproof. We could do a split of the Mr. Foggy and the Plantation.
You had me to get weird with it, so whatever you want.
This is uncharted territory. You up for this?
I put myself in your hands.
I've never tried this.
All right, Chef Eric. First up, here we go.
I'm so excited.
Cheers, buddy.
Oh, look, mine's filled with glass.
I'm kidding.
It's got quite a bite going down.
It's been prepared by Chef Sabotage.
I love that.
Right here, guys.
Chef
There you go.
Sabotage.
Thank you,
Nice,
Nancy.
Jason. No,
That's cool.
but we can
Oh,
Save
man,
them?
that looks so
whatever
good.
you want. Yeah. Cheers, buds. So what are you gonna make now, Dave?
Cheers.
I am going to make Jason a daiquiri that he so well deserves for all of his hard work that he put in today. So I am going to do...
Wow.
You don't get no love.
No, I haven't done anything today.
So I'm going to do... So
You were quite valuable.
63. All right, this is going to be a little bit heady. We'll do 1.5.
AJ, my mom was very impressed.
Yeah.
We'll do like 1.25.
Yeah, that
We'll
is
do
really good.
1.25 for the record.
This
So-
needs to be on the cruise.
Also, good thing nobody's driving tonight, right, guys? Because we've got a
Yes.
lot of different things to taste here for
Well,
for science.
Well, I was going to
Yeah.
drive David's Tesla.
I mean,
How do you
It was
feel
okay.
about that? Yeah.
I just tell it to drive me.
Okay, so
Ooh,
the lesson
burn.
is no driving or have a automatic car if you want to
We,
head out after.
we do
cocktail
have a
party.
loft.
My full
Yeah.
self-driving is going to get suspended. So I went in for the record, 1.25 ounces of Denizen 3, and then 3/4 of an ounce of this is Worthy Park Estate Rum Bar White Overproof. If you go to Jamaica, this is what the locals drink. This is the stuff.
Okay, I have to interrupt you.
Yeah.
When you're coming up with all these drinks,
Yeah.
when you're saying part of this, part of that, do you have a general ratio of booze to juice?
Yeah. So the recipe that I use for a daiquiri. So me and my wife, we never make Blanc daiquiris, like ever. This is why I was
who
like,
would make a Blanc daiquiri?
I don't think they have like a
Fucking savages.
He did say it's going to be weird.
I don't ever like. I don't generally think that like white daiquiris like really like you could do better. Like this is so much more interesting than like this. But now since we're going here, this changes things. So I'm kind of excited to see how this goes. But so I use 2 ounces on my general like daiquiri recipe. 2 ounces of pick your rum. A half an ounce of the Demerara syrup. In this case, we're going to use the pineapple. 5 drops of the saline, and then 3/4 of an ounce of acid. We're going to use still the pineapple and the lime, but what was I going to say? I would, if you're using some overproof in there, I might bump the sweetener up just a touch. But yeah, so
And is that your ratio in general? And obviously you'll tweak it depending on the cocktail, but That's kind of your ratio.
That's my go-to ratio for a daiquiri. So we're gonna use.
I also just want to say one of the benefits of being here is being able to reach in the fridge, grab some perfectly cooked pork belly.
Holding cold pork belly and cucumbers.
Pork belly and cucumbers.
Pork belly, marinated cucumbers. AJ also introduced us to pork jello, which was freaking amazing.
yeah.
Oh my god.
I think if we really wanted to go crazy, we'd have to figure out how to make a cocktail with that. Although I don't know if that would be a good idea. Maybe though.
Fat
right?
wash.
Some people- Yeah, exactly.
Fat wash. David, and
Of course.
on your saline, is that just an easier way to get salt in there because it's already diluted?
Yeah.
So it'd be not.
And and you could shake it, but it's more about being easy to measure it. I measure it by the drop, then because otherwise by the pinch it's so little amount that like it's hard to quantify. You know what I mean? So
for when some of the uninitiated will get desserts that started being popular in the early '90s, where they would add like coarse salt to a chocolate dessert as a garnish. It's the same idea with this cocktail, but you're just doing it already diluted, so it mixes easier and quicker. Just like they did with corn syrup and soda.
I'll be damned. Can I have the strainer and the shaker?
Strainer and shaker.
Sir!
Still here, let me clean it up for you.
Or actually, no, just the gold guys. Both of
don't
the gold.
clean
The
anything.
gold guys, okay.
And then,
just so you know, as you're doing this, Jason just wrote a book.
another amazing food made easy. Amazing cocktails made easy.
Yeah, just enough downtime to write a book over here in the corner.
Can I get ice, please?
That is freaking amazing.
Yes.
Ice.
Amazing fat wash cocktails made easy.
Scalpel, tweezers.
With the
The prepared ice bowl.
There you go.
Hand over to. This is so amazing. Just like better and better.
Is it though? But see,
Smells so
that's just
good.
too small of a portion for me. I would just swallow that mofo.
Yeah.
All right.
You
Just
did.
buying singles.
You did.
You're so macho.
I know this. I know this. My wife would argue differently, but
You can't clap, but damn, you can shake a cocktail.
right. I was. We were doing clap tracks today. Now this does look like swamp water, but I promise you.
Are you referring to the poop water from earlier, or is this different?
He's referring to some possible bean juice that might have come into a bath earlier.
Bean leakage.
Bean leakage.
Bean leakage.
Ayacote Morado.
I had that in college. It was horrible.
Next band name, I call it.
We are bean leakage.
Come over to your side here.
I'm curious to see.
You can stand in the middle. You're the star here, the two of you, three of you. I mean, because this is really good.
It really is.
It's so you have a high bar here.
Well, I have no idea what that tastes like. As a matter of
Have a
fact,
try.
is this mine? Is this it? I don't know
What?
which one it was.
I don't know if they named it something different, but when I was a younger man living in Lyon,
Oh, that's
we would have
dangerous.
Beaujolais cures.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
Super
this
cool,
is
yeah.
it's boozy, it's sweet, it's like nice
Yeah.
and sour.
It's like like everything in that is like ratcheted up.
yeah,
Yeah, that's really good.
yeah. This is just like take a daiquiri and then just punch yourself in the face with it.
That's right.
That's
I would
chapter
agree with
4.
that. Yeah, that's awesome. I am not mad at that. Maybe I'll make my daiquiri with that rum mix.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
This is how when you have the knowledge of the people up here on stage that you can just like be like, oh, we'll try something new and come up with a brand new drink that kicks ass.
Magic.
I didn't know it would be delicious, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, I appreciate being your guinea pig and
That's right.
He'll take any more you have to throw at him.
David, you can do anything where you slap your mint.
I have no mint to fondle today.
Oh man, I love when you slap your mint lady.
I have microgreens in the fridge if you want to slap some microgreens.
What you really need is some micro arugula on there.
There you
David.
go.
I have micro broccoli and
I
micro
can smell
cabbage.
that would maybe give me a headache if I had 5 of them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. But the texture of it, I think the texture from the pineapple, but also from the gum syrup, also like it's got
Yeah.
way more body than you would imagine.
It
this
really
is
does.
the new version.
Oh, new version. Okay.
Here we go. Yeah, it's clean. It has like lots of tropical flavor to it. It's got a really good balance between the sweet and the acid. but certainly a lot more like heavy rum forward.
Yeah,
than the other version.
I think the Jamaican
I need to try it
overproof. The Jamaican overproof. So it's called. They call it Hogo. It is that's the name for the funk. So there's at the distillery there's like big pits where they take banana peels and they just throw them in, and then they'll take that mash and just kind of throw it into the still, and that's very typical of the Jamaican style of rum. And I just like the fruitiness that the banana esters give to it.
That's awesome. All right, we got a question for Eric or Dave, because you guys both used it. What's your favorite thing to carbonate with the Breville Infizz fusion?
Go first.
Well,
I'm a frog in my throat.
Just to be fair, I've been carbonating everything, but I was, and I haven't done it yet, so I apologize. But I think it'd be my next favorite thing. I was looking at some recipes for what do you call that pudding that you get with roast beef in England? Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah.
So I was looking at Yorkshire pudding, lots of recipes, lots of people making them, and they all, were using milk. But then some people were using soda water. But they said soda water is really good, but the final Yorkshire is just not as filly. It doesn't have that wonderful fatness. I thought, what if I carbonated the milk for the Yorkshire pudding and to have that little extra carbonation to go along with the baking soda.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my new favorite thing, but I haven't done it.
What about you could use? Does it have to be milk?
Well, no, it's just the recipes that I came across. They were using milk or carbonated water. Is it? What's your vote?
Yeah, the two. I've seen both of them.
Yeah.
For sure. But
and the carbonation helped the lift, but.
Make sure the camera can see the lift.
The camera to do that.
Excuse me.
I know you're not used to being on camera.
So sorry. And it provided lift, but didn't give the fat and didn't give the richness of milk. So they preferred the milk, but it lost a little on the lift, even though it still worked great. But I just thought, because of Mr. Infizz, my new favorite thing ever, if I carbonated the milk and then did it, what would that?
You probably could.
I mean, I think when you make any recipe with carbonation in it, like if you make a tempura with, sparkling water or something like that, as long as you cook it or fry it or bake it like pretty
instantly.
Quickly, then for sure that works. It's the same thing with egg whites, right? Like if you ever make
Why do you need to do it instantly? What's the reason why you'd have to cook it pretty quickly?
Yeah, it'll start to fall down.
I thought you were talking about the milk, and I'm like, can you get carbonated milk somewhere?
Carbonated yoo-hoos. There you go. I know.
He was like, no, wait a minute.
That's exactly what egg cream is.
That's right. That's right.
Egg cream. Yeah.
Let's go to New York and get one.
God.
Actually, I should make
Jason,
an egg cream.
did you bring us egg creams from Brooklyn?
I did not, but we go to the pharmacy near us. But that's the name of it's a old soda shop that they have. It's a new place, but it's styled as an old like soda jerk. So they have egg creams, they have like lime rickeys and stuff like that, and then alcoholic versions of all of it, and then really, really good.
Dude, there's
and what kind of chocolate syrup?
Oh, it's what is
gotta
it?
be Fox's, or
Fox's,
else it's not a real chocolate egg cream. Yeah,
that's what Regis Philbin always wanted.
Yeah.
There's a place here. So when I used to cook, one of the places that I cooked at was called Guilt Bar, and we opened. There's a couple. The original one was Au Cheval, and now there's a bunch of small chevals. And one Au Cheval had the best burger in the United States for a while or whatever, and I will say it's really spectacular. And I don't think any of the small cheval burgers are quite as good as the original one you get from a cheval, but the small cheval burger is pretty good. Anyways, you brought a milkshake. At Small Cheval, you can get boozy milkshakes, and it's awesome. You can get Fernet chocolate shakes. Right?
What?
It's awesome.
Like fennel and chocolate, like brilliant. First of all, I would drink that for sure.
They're
That's
awesome.
amazing.
So you can choose.
Yeah.
I think you can choose. I forget if it's tequila or mezcal. Fernet, bourbon. I think there's like one other thing, and then you can pick your like. I think you have strawberry, chocolate, vanilla, and I think there's one other one. But
Cool.
yeah.
Now, David, you didn't answer the question though. What's your favorite thing to Mr. Fizzy?
Well, actually, I'll give you two answers. Because one, I'm just gonna do some shameless self-plug. So if you all check out the Breville Commercial Instagram channel, coming soon, we have a recipe for a bubblegum hibiscus soda that I made in Fizz, and then outside of that, there's a cocktail bar in Chicago called 3 Dots and a Dash, and it is one of my favorite tiki bars. And their 3 Dots and a Dash is better than any other 3 Dots and a Dash I've ever had. And
I'm confused. What's 3 Dots? Is that SOS?
Yes, exactly. And that's the name, and that is the name of a classic tiki drink. And the bar is also 3 Dots and a Dash is named after that drink. Also be the name of that bar. But
I'm much smarter than I thought I was.
They make the best 3 Dots and a Dash that I've ever had, and I feel like it just needs oomph. Mm-hmm. And when I was there, they put I think they just did a touch of soda water in it. But I have a really awesome recipe that I use, and they take the whole damn thing and just put it into the Mr. Fizzy and carbonate the whole damn thing. And that is one of my favorite things.
So adding carbonated soda, whatever, to a drink gives it the fizz, but it also dilutes it. But sometimes you're looking for the dilution, like with an ice cube or something like that. So you gotta play that.
Well, I'll just if you're topping off whatever, I'll just add that dilution to it and then carbonate the whole beverage. So I'll just add that amount in water and then just carbonate the whole damn thing. Because when you add the soda water, there's a difference, and if we had one, I would show you right now. But the texture is.
I have one in my back.
If only we had someone that had access to one.
Not today.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Instacart
No, I just called my wife. I live 15 minutes from here. So I think when you add just like the top and off of the soda, it doesn't you don't get the same texture. I think that is also one of the most people don't think about the texture of a cocktail like that. Like you say, it was creamy.
That one is pretty amazing.
Really, the texture just blew me off.
All the way through.
That was so good.
That texture is solid all the way through the drink.
Right, and so
it would be if you topped it off with soda.
Right, so if you carbonated the whole damn thing, the texture would carry throughout, right?
That's going to be on my gravestone. Carbonate the whole damn thing.
Just the whole damn thing. But yeah, the texture of cocktails is something I don't think people think enough about. You can do some really interesting things. Carbonated Negronis, carbonated margaritas, palomas. Because, I don't know,
right.
A margarita is a hop, skip, and a jump from a paloma. So
exactly.
I
just wanted to point out when I put my glass down because it was empty.
Oh God, let's fix that. Goodness gracious. I already finished my rum cocktail, and I have to say, perhaps a little bit, Dave, you're making me drunk. So just a little bit, yeah.
So I want to savor something.
You've got 4 more to go by your count.
Right.
Can you savor like a Coke? Like a Coke?
I don't know, I suppose. Let's try.
Let's try.
Put it on the list for tomorrow. We'll get some Coke cans.
Mexican Coke, that's the nice
Yeah, there you go, the Mexican Coke.
So, can you carbonate solid things with the infizz, like fruit? Because I know, Jason, you've done the carbonated watermelon, and I've done grapes.
Two of my favorite things,
Well, the other option is put it with dry ice, and that'll carbonate it.
Yeah, if you're looking to really impress people, two of the things that I found that work really good, that's my entire brand is what's the least amount of effort that you can do while still impressing people? That's all that I do.
This is how I live.
Having watched me sit in the one chair for 12 hours watching you just cook the entire day.
That's my life.
So the two things that I like to do, one is, it's like a classic, is doing carbonated grapes. That they're fizzy, if you serve that as an appetizer or something before people eat, most people have never had a carbonated grape before, and it just blows their mind. The other one I think is actually a pretty good dish is carbonated watermelon with lime juice, jalapeno, and some mint on it. I'm sure everyone up here could come up with better combinations, a little more nuanced. But doing that, it's actually a really good starter salad that gets that fizz and the carbonation, and also, especially if you have really good watermelon that's sweet and really tasty, a little bit of the metallic or a little bit of bitterness from the carbonation helps offset it a little bit. Then the lime juice helps just add that acidity and brightness to it. It's a really good combination that people are very much not expecting, and it's throw it in a whipping siphon, put in some of the stuff to carbonate it, and then next morning you can serve it and it's ready to go. Like it's
Right,
super
right.
easy,
Yeah.
very low effort. You're basically dicing watermelon, and that's the entire dish.
But the point is, everybody needs to buy the infants.
No, I think it's so cool, like talking about carbonation, because it's in line with what we're doing here, which is celebrating sous vide, which all that sous vide does is amplifies flavors. Carbonating a beverage does the same thing. Those bubbles on your tongue, it becomes more volatile, like you smell it more because it's coming in and out of your nasal cavity, like all your olfactory senses, all of that. So what an interesting thing that we're talking about,
Yeah, I
because it really falls in line with sous vide in general. So yeah, super cool. Although don't carbonate items in a sous vide pouch. I'm not making any suggestions to do that, because then you're going to have a really big surprise that maybe you don't want. Yeah.
I had
Oh, here we go.
Of course. All right, let me take it back.
I know a little bit about that because last night I cooked some chickpeas with a touch of baking soda in the bag to alter the pH and break down the chickpeas to make our hummus for the video we shot earlier.
The best hummus
And
I've had in my entire life.
I went to go check on the bags and just went to go check on the timer and see how much was left, because I had a lot of things going I didn't remember. And my bath was growing bags out of it, and who knew when you heat baking soda creates gas.
You're supposed to know.
Just like perhaps a little bit of carbon dioxide
You can still do it, just don't steal the bag. Which all we did, problem solved, still made awesome hummus.
Dave has a history of blowing things up in our kitchen. I mean, the Everclear,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yes.
That was
It can
amazing.
definitely happen.
Well, because people are like, oh, exploding bags. I'm like, I've never had a bag explode, so I'm like, if anything's gonna
Exploded.
it's gonna be Everclear at 90.
Yeah. Also, pro tip: never. Okay, say you have a bottle of champagne or something sparkling, and you want it to get cold really fast. For the love of God, don't put it in the freezer. Like, it will explode. Like,
But why? What's that?
Because there's all this nucleation of the bubbles, and it's freezing, so it's making ice crystals, which is making even more nucleation because it's like bubbling out because you've got little sugars and stuff in there. So the whole bottle will explode.
So even if
and I learned that the hard way because I knew it was a dumb idea, but one time we were doing a presentation and I was making kefir soda, and I wanted it to be cold, and I'm like, well, I'll just put it in the freezer for like 20 minutes in the blast freezer, which is a really dumb idea. And then I went back to check it to serve my drink for the presentation, and needless to say, I did not serve that drink. So
it doesn't matter if it's a traditional home freezer or a blast freezer.
No,
it's
just
just
don't.
that rapid chilling.
It's like
But you
dancing a
can't
fine line.
wanna-
Don't do it.
If you want to chill pretty quick, though, Doug Piper did a presentation at one of our conferences where he used a sous vide machine, like the Hydro Pro, that can just do at room temperature, put ice in it, circulated it, put the items in there, and they cooled faster and more uniformly than doing something in a freezer. And
That's cool.
because it's
Yeah.
above freezing temperatures, generally, you're not going to accidentally.
So I do
Wait, so
that.
how do they
things.
keep it cold in the bath? Like, explain that to me real quick.
So you throw ice in it. So I do that with like my
But like, what
delis.
temperature do you put on the circulator?
Zero temp, zero.
Zero,
Doesn't
zero,
matter.
zero.
As long as
Ah.
It's just
Yeah,
moving the water.
Got it.
Yeah,
so
it's like
like
turning the
no
fan on
temperature
versus
regulation,
AC.
just like what, like 32, 34 Fahrenheit?
It doesn't matter because it'll just, the heater will never kick on because once you add the yeast. So that's what I do. So I'll take, like, if I'm making purees or whatever, after I'm done, let's say I'm going to make like sous vide carrot puree or whatever, I still have my bath, dump out the water, put water, ice, and then I take my delis of the puree after I made it and I plunk them in there and just run the circulator with ice around the delis.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna wait, a lot of hot tips tonight. That's really cool.
A lot of
Yeah.
defrosting in the Hydro Pro set on zero.
Huh.
So if it's frozen, and it's vacuum sealed. If it's frozen, I'll put it in the water. Set the Hydro Pro for 0 Celsius, 0 Fahrenheit. Doesn't really matter. And then I just start it, and it does. Because here's the thing: the health department tells you the best way to defrost food is to put the food under running water.
Room temperature water, and a method in which within 4 hours the core of the product doesn't reach 41 degrees Fahrenheit or above. How the hell are you controlling that?
If
Like,
anyone
I'm
out there
curious.
wants a HACCP plan,
If you don't-
the person coding government
But in
regulations
addition to
can
that,
help you do that.
In a restaurant situation, is the health department paying your water bill?
No,
That is a colossal
but
waste
that's
of
the
water.
thing too, is nobody puts it in running water. They just put it in,
Water.
stagnant water.
Right.
Like they're, who wants to pay for that? So
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but the Hydro to the rescue, sous vide to the rescue.
Mhm.
When you set it on zero, it's just moving that water around. But it's got to be vacuum sealed, or you're gonna get moving.
Yeah. Well, no, I
poop
put
water.
No, I put I
Poop
drop
water.
all the speed down, and then I have so I have delis, just open delis, sitting
Just
in my
floating
bag.
around.
Yeah. Well, I have it so they don't float. Like I have that point where they don't float, and I just turn the speed down.
So it looks like the Titanic.
Yeah. Of delis, and then
Like Jack is holding on.
I heard you use this to.
Oh.
Jason, come
We
on.
said we wouldn't bring these out.
I didn't think you were gonna bring that out tonight.
Honey, for the love of God, isn't anything sacred?
Wait, do we have a safe word?
Pineapple.
Alright, hey guys, we're coming up on an hour. Why don't you?
Are we really?
I want to give all of you a chance to. You're all doing exciting, amazing things. I want to give you each a chance to plug things that you're working on, things you're interested in, things that you're looking for. What do you got going on, Dave?
I was so not prepared for this. Check out the Rebel Commercial Instagram channel. There's a whole bunch of new content that we have coming out. I know that there's been, we've been kind of trying to use the other content that we have evergreen, but there is a whole bunch of new stuff that's coming out, so I'm super excited for that. Super excited for this content to come out. We shot a whole bunch of reels and then 2 complete videos today. Super stoked about that. We've got the sous vide cruise, right? If anybody wants to see these expert shaking techniques,
Oh my! Do you have to do that with your hips too? When you do that?
you got it.
Dude.
I feel violated. I feel like it sells it.
We're doing Caribbean cuisine. That's part of the whole thing.
Right, so we have the sous vide cruise coming up, which is super, super awesome. Yeah, those are the things that I have going on.
AJ, do you have between 1 and 13 things that you're excited about?
Just a bit. I mean, things are definitely a bit more of a reasonable pace right now for me, but I just started a consulting business called Inspired Eats. I don't think I've even told you that yet.
No.
After taking a little just, doing things that people need help with and trying to make food more delicious in general. So running around, visiting,
cool.
Chicago to make cocktails with a bunch of food nerds just like me and enjoying life. So yeah, thanks. And Eric?
I got nothing. I do want to say though, for those of you out there who are just wondering, AJ trained me in sous vide,
Yes.
and probably everybody in this room.
And me.
Like everybody.
I was not as fortunate, but AJ was there for my HACCP training.
Ah, well, there you go.
And actually, I remember working on the Hydro Pro with you.
Yes,
that
we
was
did,
a lot of back and forth, kind of what if we could do this? What if we could do this? It really changed the game. So,
So if you're wondering why we hold her in such high esteem, it's because she fucking rocks. And I love the idea of your new project. My project is to have a date. Eventually I will date again. And my daughter is going to be 14. And she gave me a proposal. It was actually a PowerPoint on why she should be allowed to go to Ohio to see Billie Eilish. So, I'm dealing with that kind of stuff as I'm cooking in.
That's big stuff. That's
big
bigger
stuff.
than anything else we
Yeah.
got going.
And then you just invited me to something in February, you said?
Little thing in March.
In March.
Oh,
March.
oh, there's February, but there's also March. We can sleep head to toe.
My hips don't do that, dude.
Dave needs a roomie. And you're
Oh my god!
After a few rum cocktails, maybe it doesn't sound so unreasonable.
Sous vide cruise, let's get out this boat, baby.
Oh, gosh.
Well,
cheers to
hopefully
that,
all of
yeah.
you out there had as much fun as we did.
I
Having
don't
some
think
great
so.
cocktails. Yeah, probably not. This was a good time for all of us. It's been fun being a person, learning from these pros. Hopefully the content that's going to be coming out on the ISVA, as well as Poly Science and AJ's channels will be very informational and very fun as well. A lot of good stuff. I can vouch for the taste of the food and the cocktails. It's amazing. So hopefully you had a good time, and we're looking forward to seeing you at upcoming events. I know Mike has a lot of stuff planned. We're looking forward to getting a lot more content out in front of all you, and hopefully doing some more in-person events so all of you can hang out with these amazing people in hopefully a town near you as well. So thanks for joining us, Really appreciate it. Thanks to Mike for putting it together and for our stars for coming out here.